the OKC Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers both dominated their first round NBA matchups. They both 4-0'd the Miami Heat and the Memphis Grizzlies. But that's not even the most interesting part because they both had one performance where they absolutely destroyed the competition by winning by at least 50 points in each of their games.
I want to say expect the unexpected in these playoffs. In this case, we were right. It was expect the expected, which is what we exactly thought. I'm very disappointed in the Miami Heat because I thought they would have given up a much better performance. As you mentioned, their closeout game in the fourth game was atrocious. And we'll start there, I guess, with the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers series. The reason why it was disappointing for me for the Miami side of things in terms of competition-wise, the Memphis Grizzlies, you could say, they don't have the continuity going into the postseason because they fired their coach. Less than 9 games to go in the season. These guys still had Spoelstra. These guys still have culture. I understand you traded away Jimmy Butler. The other team did not have Darius Garland for the last 2 games and you still got cooked on home court. That's unforgivable for me.
But that speaks to more about the Cavaliers being so good than the Miami Heat being bad because of them getting rid of Jimmy Butler. We didn't expect them to do much, right? I know, don't get almost. I agree with you in terms of don't get absolutely destroyed by 50 points and also 20 points in Game 3. But when I'm looking at this series right now, I don't take away anything from Miami. I'm taking away for Cleveland in terms of these guys haven't been the 1 seed since LeBron, right? These guys haven't been a championship contender worthy team since LeBron. So they're obviously trying to get back to that. And the last couple of years, they have, failed in terms of what they were trying to achieve. Whereas this year, they came in with a dominant regular season and they followed it up with a dominant first round, which was very important for me because don't get me wrong, it doesn't tell me oh my God, Cleveland are bona fide contenders now, they're going to go all the way. It doesn't do anything about that.
You're playing the Miami Heat.
But what? Yeah, exactly. You're playing the Miami Heat. But what it does though, is it reassures you that these guys are here to play. They're dominant and they're locked in and they handle business how they're supposed to in terms of they're supposed to dominate the 8 seed and that's what they exactly did.
8 seed, 10 seed.
Whatever it is, they're supposed to dominate them.
But yeah, they did that, right? Yes, there is a lot of parity in the NBA, right? We saw the 7 seed a couple of years ago. Ironically enough, the Miami Heat go to the finals. The 7 seed Lakers go to the conference finals.
8 seed in Miami.
8 seed Miami, 7 seed Lakers go to respective conference championships. Miami going to the final. The parity is there. We get that. And there were question marks about this Cavs teams come this playoff time. Are they going to be the Atlanta Hawks from 2015? Are they going to be the Toronto Raptors of 17-18? Right? And the reason why I say that is this Miami team is still good enough to give you a little bit of trouble. They did not give them trouble.
Nope.
And that's, again, to your point, speaks volumes of how Kenny Atkinson has that team ready. Darius Garland was not there. Your lead point guard, the main playmaker, the guy who can handle the ball in the clutch was not there. And you still... Obviously, this game was over at halftime. The game 4 was over at halftime.
Who needs Garland when you have Virginia legend Ty Jerome?
Exactly.
He's cooking.
I mean, you still need
I know. But Ty Jerome is on a heater, and he's it's kind of reminding me of what TJ McConnell did last year in the playoffs for the Pacers, coming off the bench, being the backup PG. Ty Jerome has just been absolutely on one coming into the playoffs.
He's
and
6th man of the year finalist, right? So and
yeah,
he's going to be considered.
Fully deserved.
He was. Sorry, he's not going to get it. He was. But before we move on to the Western Conference side of things, I want to ask you one question about the Miami Heat. We're not going to go to deep outlook, but what are you expecting this offseason? Because to me, the best comparison I could have is if you're an NFL fan, there are the Pittsburgh Steelers at the moment. They don't have a guy anymore. Jimmy Butler's no longer there.
Yeah, so when I'm looking at it in terms of, I think it's going to be a little bit worse. They're going to have to do a lot more soul searching because it's going to be a tougher offseason. It's going to, at the end of the day, you're not going to have, you went from LeBron and D-Wade obviously transition to no one, transition to Jimmy Butler, who was really good. And now you're in that no one phase again.
You're Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero's not a number one in my opinion.
It's kind of Hero's been incredible.
He's been really good.
But he can't do it by himself. It's not going to work like that. So it's going to be a tough couple next years, in my opinion, for the Miami Heat in terms of being a top team again.
Let's go to the flip side. Another gritty team in the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the OKC Thunder, and this was flipped.
Yeah.
Game 1, shellacking, as you mentioned at the beginning of the year, and that's without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander even playing well. So Game 2 could only been up from there. They got shellacked. But
here's the thing, because the Game 3 for Miami was a 20-point, Game 4 was obviously the 50-point, and this is opposite. Game 1 was a 50-point.
Yeah.
Game 2 was the 20-point. The funniest thing I would take away from the series is when Ja Morant said, we're not going to play it that bad anymore ever again. And which is true because they lost by 50 to losing by 20. So they did not play as bad, So I can't hold his words against him. But overall, in Oklahoma, these guys dominated, so which obviously gives you a little bit of hope because they're using that home court advantage. But again, similar thing with I said for the Miami Heat. This doesn't do anything in terms of like raising their contender level, especially when they're in the more tougher Western Conference. But again, reassures you that one, they could win without Shai popping off, and two, they came to handle business and they did. Obviously, there's some games 3 and 4 were different storylines because
so Ja did get hurt.
Ja did get hurt, and they were down by 29 at one point.
Yeah.
But the good news is, another thing you could look at, and the good news for the OKC Thunder is that them being down by 29
and coming
without
back.
Ja or with Ja doesn't matter. Coming back from 29 is a tough thing to do, and they were able to do it. So they won games where they dominated from the beginning, and they also won a game where they were down and out, and they still found a way to win.
Listen, Thunder has a more tougher matchup if you're on paper, right? Obviously, the continuity favored the Heat, but the team that the Thunder have or the Grizzlies have are better than the Heat were overall this year, right? Still didn't like the Taylor Jenkins firing at the time it did. I know you're a strong proponent. You have a strong case for that as well.
Yeah.
I guess clearly.
I was right.
So their offseason is going to be interesting. But with the Thunder, yes, you're right. They dominated. They found a way without even Shai popping off. They found a way to come back. They won a gritty game at home. It is concerning that, yes, when Ja went down, I guess I can't say too much. The reason why I'm saying a little bit concerning is because they were in Memphis when they had to make that comeback because Ja went down, and Ja missed game 4, and that was only a 2-point game.
But here's the thing, like, you can only put up what's against you, and at the end of the day, like, they didn't take them lightly. They still respected him enough in terms of like, we gotta beat you guys, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And the good news is that Shai had a great closeout game in game 4, and he put up his buckets. So that concern and early on in the series, for me, it's gone.
But listen, both these teams have shown that the regular season does matter. You want to have the top seed.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to let your foot off the gas, right? You get the easier matchup,
and like
you get the easier matchup in the first round.
And when you're looking at those 40,
and home court
45 plus point dodges they had, they weren't letting off the gas.
Yeah,
because they're like, we're not losing our competitive edge here. It's like, it's freaking playoff time.
Exactly.
Like, why would we take our foot off the gas? If we're here, we're gonna play till minute 48.
Yeah,
right. We've seen comebacks happen. All right, and I know obviously it's gonna be hard.
We
to come
saw a
back.
game. Yeah, like that. We made the Clippers Nuggets video, which everybody should check out.
Yeah,
the game of runs that had,
exactly right.
The last
like
game.
So, like they have the right mentality. And they're playing like it.
The one thing I do love what both these teams did was during the regular season, they were dominant, like you mentioned. Cultures are set by Daigneault and Kenny Atkinson. Young teams. Only Donovan Mitchell was the guy mainly for the Cleveland side of things, what he did with Utah to bring that leadership in. Shai starting from last year. So overall, showing that like, hey, dominate regular season. We get the home court advantage. And overall, we get to dictate most of the stuff during the regular season and all that, heading into playoff time as well. And rest the guys late down the stretch.
Before we move on, we would appreciate if you guys smash the subscribe button. We make NBA content like this every single week. And if you're a basketball fan in general, this is a place where you guys want to be. So hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button. And also, drop a comment. We also want to we would love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. But we're going to move on to our last point here. And we're going to look at a quick outlook for the future for the Thunder and the Cavs. Obviously, when you're looking at it, the East-West, the Cavaliers have a little bit easier matchup with probably what's going to be the Indiana Pacers in the second round. And obviously, on the other side, you have Thunder going up against like the series of the first round with the Clippers and Nuggets.
So here's the thing, right? This is why you want to dominate your games, because now you're done in 4 games. You could rest a little bit. Unfortunately for the Thunder, they're gonna have a harder matchup, like you said. But their Clippers and the Nuggets are probably gonna go a 7-gamer.
Yeah, 100%.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And it's been a back outside of game 3, hard back and forth. And we obviously talked about in the last video, so I don't need to go too much about them. So the good news with the Thunder is they could rest up any injuries they have, whatever the case may be. The Cavs, also dominating fashion, got to rest players. Their only bad side is going to be that Darius Garland was injured, and the way with soon Damian Lillard as well, torn Achilles. It's looking like the Pacers are going to should end that series in 5 games, which means their rest time goes lower. They're based on the broadcast, they're supposed to start on Saturday most likely. Who knows?
If the Pacers do win.
If the Pacers
at the end of the day, there is Giannis, and like if Gary Trent Jr. pops off for 30, yes, exactly. 7 again. Like the Bucks could still extend the series, but right now it's looking like the Pacers, and obviously for the Thunder, the Thunder, obviously there's no debate about it. The Thunder have a harder road.
Yeah,
the Cavs should.
beat the Pacers,
and
but
should make the conference finals by beating the Pacers or even the Bucks.
although
if they somehow come back.
I am scared of the Pacers a little bit if I'm the Cavs, just because of how they've been playing.
They've been playing
down
better
the
ball.
stretch,
Yeah.
the regular season till this point in the playoffs.
One thing that both teams are gonna have to, be ready for is that expect a much better matchup, essentially.
Yeah, way better
much
matchup.
much bigger and better competition in the second round than they had with their 8 seeds. But like overall, these guys handle business. They're dominant. They showed why they're the 1 seeds and they showed why they are contenders. But like we mentioned before, the Clippers and Nuggets have been one of the best series of the first round of the playoffs. And if you would like to get a deep dive on that, click the video that's popping up to my right. And we'll catch you guys over there and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.